RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
BooBaes.
Hi, and welcome to
BooBaes.
BooBaes, your horror-tastic, spooktacular fun. Yep, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
And we are your hosts, and we are here to talk about a highly anticipated film for me, I guess, because I've had so many people since
hype you up about it.
Moment it came out be like, you have to watch Fresh. You have to watch Fresh.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah.
I don't know if you were.
I think I watched it. And I'm pretty sure I told Nancy about it. Maybe it was just Nancy.
Because then, but whenever I did tell you, like, hey, should we do this? You were like, yes,
yeah,
I like this movie. Mm-hmm. And so you then hyped it up
a little
to
bit.
Me after. But I know I had a friend named Blair. She kept asking me like multiple times. She was like, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? And I was like, no, I got logged out of Hulu on my TV. I couldn't watch it.
Also, too, because when it came out, I don't know, a month ago or 2 months ago-ish.
Yeah, she must have watched it the moment it dropped.
Yeah.
2022.
It was super big on Twitter. Like, it was super big. Like, everybody was kind of talking about it.
I for sure do not have Twitter. Mm-hmm. I really never got the hang of that app.
I have Twitter for like the memes. That's all.
Yeah, I got Reddit for that. But I don't know why Twitter just never computed in my brain.
Credits, like some credits roll, and then you get that scene.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and then it keeps going.
And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, now we're getting a first watch experience right now.
We are. Sorry, you guys. Caitlin mentioned something about a scene right at the end of the movie, and I was like, I don't know
what the
fuck are you talking about? And I'm over here thinking, like, did I legit like fall asleep for 5 minutes? Like both times I watched this movie at the right exact spot. I see now. Oh. You guys. All right. Sorry. We'll talk about it at the end. That's cool. Okay. I did not notice that.
There you go. You got to watch a little bit of a movie with us.
That's interesting. You know what? That kind of adds another layer to that. Mm-hmm. Okay. That makes me want to think.
I was trying to add some more symbolism into it and stuff. Yeah. Like, see, because the whole goat head, like, it felt very satanic.
Yes. And I felt like there was also, like, this is tying into something
I was trying to see if they were like the seven deadly sins, but I think there's only like five of them. Yeah. And so because I was like, one is in like, okay, so what we're talking about is throughout the film and stuff. Sorry, this is just fresh on our minds.
Yes.
Fresh on our minds.
But
that was actually unintentional. But there are these men eating around a table. It very much gave me like Squid Games vibe.
Yeah,
and
like
what was that?
Very much.
What was that movie? Didn't we watch another movie that was like basically Squid Games, but came out before? Oh, Escape Room.
Escape Room, yes, the champion and tournaments and all that shit. And
yeah. So it's like these very elite people
who are basically eating human flesh that they're getting from this person, and so there's those scenes accompanied with a lot of like those scenes of the ram's head.
Ram.
And every time I'm thinking,
it's
like,
definitely bigger than a goat. You're right.
I'm like, man, like, what does that have to do? Because we never get an explanation of like what connection that is, and like how that like. So and
like the man with the ponytail.
So I feel and how he just
at the end, bye.
He's just like, nope, I don't get paid enough for this. And I feel like this might definitely leave it for like
It could potentially have a sequel just to see, what happened. Prequel would be.
I would
for like see. Anna's backstory.
Yeah.
I'd want to see that.
Yeah.
But basically, so as Steve Leader says in the film, it's the 1% of the 1% who were partaking in this. And so throughout the scene, throughout the film, you get several different little like flashes of scenes that are kind of meshed with meat being ground and eaten very sloppily, like, just very disgusting kind of images. Not disgusting, but like in their nature and how they're put together,
because
it's
what
pretty
it
gross.
Is,
yeah.
Even though they're beautifully shot.
Yes, they are.
Because there is a lot of scenes where I was like, wow, this is really nice.
Yeah, it was so beautifully shot.
What's happening?
But it's revolting.
Really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but around this table and these men who are partaking and eating, you have some who are like completely well dressed and like in a suit and stuff. Then one man's on like somewhat life support or something. He's got like a little tube in his nose. I guess that just means oxygen. And then
he's breathing.
Weird
as fuck.
Yeah, a man with like, into some like BDSM shit, like the things leather, on his nipples and. So then in my head, I was like, well, okay, are these like the 7 deadly sins or something? I don't know. With that, I was like, maybe we got glutton and because the way that they're eating and envy and stuff.
Maybe it's only 5 out of the 7. But then how would the sins tie into?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think that I think cannibalism in nature is kind of inherently like a big, no, it's very taboo, So then maybe it's just like these. Or unmasked like desires or desires that need to be hidden. But then I don't know how like the man on oxygen would I guess it's just showing that it's different people. And for some of them, it is a sexual fetish, like to be eating these women and have like their pictures and their belongings. Like that's what he'll pack like underwear with it and stuff. So I imagine they can like
I feel like
smell her underwear.
He says like they like it when it's more personalized and like more like they get to know who they're eating.
This is not at all the same, but Portlandia, the literal first episode where they're like, "Could you tell us more about this chicken?" And like where it was raised, and they basically go live on that farm.
Yes, yeah, I remember now. Oh my god, I love Portlandia.
For like 5 years. God,
we can have a whole podcast about just Portlandia.
I love Portlandia. It's so good. There's so many times in my life where you need to reference a Portlandia skit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically that they wanted a picture. See, was this a well-raised chicken?
Yeah.
Was this a well-raised woman?
No GMOs? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot. So, I mean, basically, if you haven't seen the movie, guys, there's no way to talk about it without, I mean, we've already spoiled it, but with spoilers. But yeah, there's a lot going on.
The synopsis online does a good job of not giving away the spoilers.
Yeah.
Just from what I gathered of what everyone was
talking and saying about it.
No one explicitly said cannibalism. No one did.
Because I remember the other night when you were like, "Isn't it about cannibalism?" And I was like, "Oh," I like deferred.
Yeah. Okay. So the like when you look up Fresh movie 2022 horror thriller, hour and 57 minutes long. And it says, the horrors of modern dating are seen through the eyes of a young woman who is battling to survive her new boyfriend's unusual appetites. And with that, I was like, okay, this could get into some very dark, like, BDSM shit.
Yeah.
Or it's going to go into cannibalism.
Like, is this giving 50 Shades of Grey? Or... No.
Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Literally.
There were so many times where, because he was like, I'm from Texas. I was like, this bitch is just a part of the family.
His mom's in Texas.
Well, his dad is. His mom's dead.
I thought he said his dad's dead and his mom's in Texas.
That's what hers is.
Oh.
Well, but her mom's not in Texas. She says she's not in contact with her mom anymore.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And then his dad's in Texas. And I wonder if he ate his mom and that was his first experience with eating someone at 19.
It happened at 19. That's weird.
Which I'm like, he's really young. And I wonder if his dad is maybe in it.
I was also wondering, like, how did that even come about? How were you eating someone?
At 19. Yeah. Like
specifically.
Yeah, it just seems very young.
Yeah, and it seems like what
There's
situation would raise for you to eat someone?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, who did you kill?
There's no appropriate age to eat someone, but I imagine if it was,
it would not be 19.
It would not be 19. No, it'd be a little bit later.
Like, at least older than the drinking age.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was directed by Mimi Cave, and this was her directorial debut, right?
Yep. Yes.
Pretty damn good one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Got an 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
6.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Pretty high for IMDb. 74% of Google users like this movie. I wonder if it's just because of cannibalism, like
maybe,
that some people are like, ew, and I don't like it. To me, overall, it was a really good.
It was pretty digestible, but
it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Like what? It was running at like an hour and 50 something minutes. Yeah, almost 2 hours. But it's kind of like, to me, when I think back about it, it's almost like in parts, and it's broken up pretty easily between like what's happening with our main girl and then like her friend, with the little side plot of her rescuing her, and then like, you know, I like the pacing of it.
Yeah,
it was really well paced.
I agree. It was. And I don't know. I think the only thing.
The ending I felt maybe was like a little like they went in and then just like, we're gonna I can't talk, bulldoze it down.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, I feel like that could have been a little bit more fleshed out, because I feel like he just kind of went down a little too easy, I guess. But I mean
they did fight him for a bit.
Yeah.
But I think my issue with the ending was the just you up text from Chad, and it's like, fuck you, Chad. What's this motherfucker's name is Chad.
They're gonna go get him next.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, but
I guess we can get into the beginning now.
Yeah, Chad. And so we have the beginning of the movie, which opens up with this little date going on, right?
Our main character, Noah, N-O-A.
There we go.
Interesting way to spell it.
Yeah, no H at the end. It starts with some indie music. It's very 60s sounding almost.
The soundtrack throughout this whole film is wonderful.
Yeah, whoever came up with it, whoever edited, like, this song plays here and this song plays there, because there are even songs that are like on the nose of like kind of to give you, like, tell you what's happening. Yeah, it was really good. And so she's she's on the dating app. That's right. She's like, as we're looking at her, like, flicking through the people, she's getting ready to go to that date, and then we end up with her
because she's sitting in the car.
Yeah,
and she had just gotten the text from Chad saying, "By the way, this place is cash only."
That's right. Yeah,
and so she calls her best friend, or I guess she texted Molly that, and Molly calls her, and we get to hear her ringtone there, which is important for later.
Yes,
and it's "Thank you for being a friend," or the Golden Girls like theme song. And she's like, absolutely not. I love Molly. The whole time
from the whole thing. She's, and also too, like, her the actress who did her, and then like everything, she was like, I felt like all of her dialogue was just very natural. Like, it didn't seem like acted or forced, and it
felt like exactly how I would respond
to a friend who's telling me these things, and I'm like, literally. Yeah,
with that "get that D," I was like, I know I've said
You've said that so many times. I can attest to that. Yeah. So we have and Molly is played by Jonica T. Gibbs, and we have Noah being played by Daisy Edgar Jones, a 3-name actress.
Borderline Anne Hathaway.
So,
she looked like Anne Hathaway the whole time.
Well, to me, maybe, and no, like, shade to Miss Daisy. When I first watched it and watching it again, I don't know why I remembered
Kristen
it.
Stewart?
I thought it was a different actress, right? And I don't know, for some reason, I thought it was Dakota Johnson.
Who's that?
The girl from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yeah, I still never seen that.
Yeah, but like, I literally thought it was that girl for a whole second. And then when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a whole different chick. Like,
it's Walmart and Anne Hathaway.
I can see that. Great value. See, this is who I thought it was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that seems like
the same actress.
Yeah. They look very similar.
Yeah.
I think in this one, she looked like Anne Hathaway specifically when she's playing Fantine. And
Les Mis? Okay, yeah, I can see that. But we
real malnourished and teeny.
You just call her malnourished?
I did. Well, Fantine is like malnourished.
No,
well,
Fantine,
she's got tuberculosis.
For sure. I don't think she looked malnourished.
Oh no, but she's just very tiny.
She's very skinny.
Yeah,
she's very petite. Yes. But we have her, she's going on that date, and she's, after Molly's telling her, nuh-uh, she ends up going anyways, and we get to see who it is. And if y'all have ever seen Jane the Virgin, it's I forget his name, but it's one of her love interests, who dies of like a heart attack or something.
Probably good. Karma for this shit in the future.
Oh yeah, for real. But no, yeah, they're having conversation, and already you can tell he's like a douche.
And he's an actual Chad.
Yeah,
his name is Chad.
Yeah, and so we have them talking, and he's being a douche. He's talking about
his acid reflux.
And then he has the audacity to like look at her and then kind of make this face, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "I was just having a thought that like the women like from earlier generations just cared more about how they look, and I feel like now as she's dressed in like an oversized sweater, I feel like
it's a direct attack
at her, yeah, and the way she's like you can visibly like, what the fuck?
She blinking her eyes. You know that one meme with the like kind of short ginger hair, and he's like,
what?
Yeah.
And so
that was her face.
Literally, he's just like, I feel like girls used to try more. Now girls don't really care, and they just throw on oversized sweaters. And
they were more into femininity. And I was like, they were more into femininity because they were forced to.
Literally. And then he says,
the fucking patriarchy.
And then he fucking icing on the cake. I just really think you would look really beautiful in a dress right now.
And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck
literally.
you.
The audacity, the nerve, the gumption.
The gumptions.
So we have that whole shit going on.
Leftovers.
Yeah. And then she's kind of, because
at
the
that
lady
point
comes,
she loses her appetite.
She lost her appetite. She's like, I'm done. And then he's like, well, my brother's coming into town, so I'm just going to take these and you can leave a little less on the tip. I'm like, how does that, in what world does that work? On a first date? Yeah.
Those are my leftovers, bitch.
I'm not going to eat them, but they're mine.
Yeah. They're mine to set in my fridge for 4 days before I go trash
it. And so then we have them walking out. Well, and the way he talks to like the waitress,
oh my God,
like it's so stupid. Like,
Bubbles, Bubbles.
Literally.
And it's like, just because she's a person of color doesn't mean that she can't fucking speak English, you tool.
Yeah. And so then we have them leaving the joint. He's obviously outside, and he's like, this was so much fun, let's do it again. And she's like,
also his appearance, I'm sorry,
he's not cute.
His scarf with that t-shirt,
bad. The boots, the whole outfit, it was horrible.
Like, who are you to be commenting on anyone's appearance, sir?
The way it was even wrapped too, like, who wraps their scarf like that? It's very pompous.
Yes.
But
yeah, he clearly didn't care enough to not run it through his food.
And he was. And so he ends up wanting to like go on another date or something, hang out again. And she's like, no, let's not. And then as soon as she's like basically turning him down, he's like, oh, well, I didn't like you anyways, and you're not my type. And
his fragile masculinity.
Yeah, called her a stuck-up bitch, right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Stuck-up
good
bitch.
luck finding a date or a man or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. It is so like kind of scary to tell men like,
oh yeah,
no, I don't want to go on a second date with you. I've been in that situation where I've had to, well, not like they haven't reacted that way towards me, but where I've not wanted to go on a second date, and then I'm having to like kind of back off because he's like trying to kiss me. There was that one time I blocked someone with a pizza box and was like, I was like, hold my leftovers right in front of me so you can't kiss me.
That's a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I was like, please get away. And then, but like, it's hard. I always wait till text message to turn him down. Like I will, I don't just ghost people.
Yeah.
But I would wait and then be like,
it's harder when it's right in front, when they're right in front of you, and also that's like
because you
like
don't know how they're gonna react. Yeah, it's scary.
Safety.
Yeah,
and that what ties in. That's I guess what's tying into the movie as well. Like all the things that women have to go through, in terms of dating.
Because the next scene is her walking to her car.
Yeah, exactly. We get another reference, and also too, I think it just goes to show if you pay attention to like her character development, like the way that she doesn't really like she wants to react, but she can't like find the words, like she, and she's like, fuck, and then
because she was just like rendered essentially speechless after he called her a stuck-up bitch and stuff. And just because she was politely turning him down, and then she laughed, of course, because he said an obnoxious comment. He was like, I was just literally being polite. No, you weren't, sir. You made her pay for her own food, and then you were nasty and took her leftovers. And slammed the door on her face.
And so it just goes to show like all that, like the metaphors and stuff and how it ties in with real life. And then she later on in the movie as well, we get to see like her character development of like then actually kind of like, you know, putting up a fight for herself and sticking up for herself as opposed to like what happened just now.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, yeah, she's walking after this experience down an alley to get to her car. And one, I'm just thinking, like, why is your alley parked all the way at the end of an alley? Like, why is there parking lot like that? But anyway, and so, yeah, and then this man is shadowy figure is walking up behind her the whole time. So you're kind of getting this feeling of like when girls are like, you know,
walking
not
to
feeling
car.
safe.
Yeah,
walking to the vehicle.
The way I know pretty much every woman has had to clutch their keys like a fucking weapon, like Wolverine, before when walking to their car because we felt uncomfortable.
And so then finally she's getting closer to the car. Light kind of shows up on who it's walking by, and it's literally a man with a baby. Like, and I'm also thinking, like, why is this man walking with a baby?
In the middle of the night down an alley.
What time is it right now?
Maybe daylight savings had happened, and it's like 6.
It's giving very sus. It's giving very, that's a diversion.
Yeah.
Like something else is going on. It's not physically harming the woman, but something else. Yeah, like there's like a drug butt deal or something, or like a big mafia something's going on. But anyways, yes, we have her then getting into her vehicle. We have the next day, it's what she's talking to Molly.
Yeah, and they're boxing or
that's right.
Whatever
they're having
that
little
is.
boxing thing moment, and
punch in the bag.
She's telling her about the date that happened and all that. And Molly's obviously like, "Fuck him" and all that shit. And then
his ugly ass scarf.
Literally.
I put Molly a baddie.
And then Molly's basically just kind of giving her a pep talk and being like, you know, you don't need to do all that. You're brainwashed by Disney and on fuck Ariel. And I kind of took a little offense to that, but you know,
because she's your favorite, right?
She's my favorite. And then obviously, yes,
well, fuck Ariel.
Fuck Ariel.
And then she's like, I'm the beast.
Yeah, literally. But I mean, yeah, I think that's something that's so like we can get behind Molly 100%.
Yes. But then so basically after that, you know, we get a little bit of a good reason. Oh, and at the beginning, we should have mentioned on their phone call originally, they said whenever she hangs up, she says, love you. And then the other girl says, love you more. And so throughout the film, we'll get to see them interact. Yeah. And how they say goodbye
to each other.
Yeah. Because that's the main thing that keys Molly off to be like, nah, this bitch, this isn't Noah talking to me, because we always say love you more. And it doesn't matter like who says love you more. It's just whoever says love you, the other person says love you more. Yeah. And so that comes in.
And you know your friends. Later. Like I know how you respond to me. I know you know how I would talk.
Yeah, you can tell when someone else is.
You know how
on
I would
your phone.
Say things and the jargon, like the vernacular that I would use, as opposed to like sending just an emoji.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so then we have, after all that, we have Miss Noah being back at home. Like she gets kind of hungry. She realizes she doesn't have food. One, I'm like, why is your fridge? You know what? No judgment. Never mind. But the milk carton looked dirty.
Oh, I
guess
didn't
it was
even.
just like a filter on it.
I didn't even get to see the. I mean, maybe I remember her looking in her fridge. I was more distracted by the random dick pic she was sent right beforehand.
Oh, right before that, yeah.
And it's like, man, I've had so many messages like that on dating apps where it goes from like 0 to 100.
Oh yeah.
Where it's just like.
And that's yeah, same.
It's just
and then like whenever she was like asking about the dog, and it goes from like gives the name to like, what are you wearing? What do you know? All that.
I want to see your body. I'm gonna make you so wet.
Yeah, that's
gross. And then the dick pic, and I just have to say, dick pics are so uncreative. I've made some nudes that were like
very creative
works of art, and then I've received dick pics that are literally of a man on a toilet, and it's like under the shot of his dick, and you're just getting like his double chin and shit.
It's some people have really
and it's like, it's like, you couldn't have done something better.
Literally.
I don't know. And then whenever you get an unsolicited dick pic, I'm sorry. If I didn't ask for that, it's free reign to show all my friends.
Yeah.
That's what we did. We've literally, all of us have sat there.
Since high school.
Yep.
I remember in high school doing that.
Yep. And we had didn't we have a whole day where we just got together and looked at someone's dick?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It happens.
Nancy's like my go-to dick showing person.
Somehow she always gets the dick pics too.
Wow.
Like from everybody. Like,
But she's a lesbian.
Yeah, literally. She's a lesbian. But no, I remember not vaguely, very vividly this one time. Like I was like probably a sophomore or a freshman maybe. And my friend. No, not to me.
Oh.
But like I was in a class with like seniors and juniors, and my friend got a text from some other dude. I should not have said those names out loud. One name. Anyways, well, we don't know where the other one came from.
We can
where
bleep
the
that.
dick came from. Yeah. So
bleep the name at 23 minutes and like 10 seconds.
And so this X person got a picture from Y person, and she was sitting right next to me, and she was like, just like, ew, look at this. Like, what a freaking creep, like an asshole. And it was actually like a really popular guy in school.
Oh,
like
shit.
a super popular guy. And then it's the way that I knew that guy was just talking to my other friend. And so I was sitting there like, oh,
The
crap.
tea.
Like, should I tell her?
I've already
I
seen
don't
this
know.
dick.
And like, what? Well, I hadn't seen it, but the other friend was telling me that he was talking to her. And then she's like getting this, and she's like, yeah, he like wants to, he wants to fuck or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I saw it, and I was just like, me being a little gay queer boy was just like, oh my God.
A dick.
The penis. Wow. And so yeah. But anyways, yeah. So unsolicited I can see, and some people do not. And it was not creative. It was not at all.
Mm-mm.
So yeah.
Anyways.
I can see that. Yeah.
She goes to the store though.
She goes to the store. She's
'Cause she
going to
need
go
to
get
eat.
some groceries. She needs some food. And so it's at the store that we then get all these kind of like visuals of her seeing weird ass people. I was like, what is this? Like,
you do see some weird ass people at the grocery store.
you do, like the guy that was like,
Oh my
tasting the
God, I
shit.
know.
It
He like
was-
put his finger, was it like buttermilk or something?
yeah, I don't know what it was,
put
to
his
be
fucking
honest. It was
finger in it.
thick.
Ugh.
And he tasted it, and then
I bet you better buy that. He put it right back.
You know he put that right back on the shelf. And so we have her at the store, a lot of odd characters, and then she finally gets to the veggie section, and we have our guy Steve comes up and starts kind of flirting with Miss Noah, and he's telling her about the grapes. That
Have
she
you
needs to
had
try.
those cotton candy grapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do taste like cotton candy.
I'm like, what?
They really do. It fucking freaks me out.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought you were referencing what he said. I'm
But that is what he says
like,
too.
man, Caitlin, you're going off of the script. Okay. No, I've never. Where are they from? What do you mean? Cotton candy grapes?
They are a real thing. I've had them. I think I tried them like probably 3 or 4 years ago.
I want to find cotton candy grapes.
I think they HEB will have them. They typically, I think it's more of a summer thing.
I'm going to Austin later. Maybe I can find some there.
Yeah, maybe. But they do taste like cotton candy. It's kind of freaky. I was like, this is weird. Why this food tastes like other food? Bad.
Yeah.
My brain couldn't comprehend it. I
Yeah,
also am
I
not
see
like the
them on
biggest
here.
cotton candy fan, so
I like cotton candy.
I like the fluffy texture, but like it's honestly just too much sugar, and I'd rather eat a funnel cake.
Wow. And it says that they're just as healthy as regular grapes. They just taste like the cotton candy. I guess that. Go science.
Go science.
Go science.
Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Woohoo.
I really want some of the Whole Foods Market, Austin, Texas.
There you go.
Bam. I'm going to go get me some cotton
Get
candy
you
grapes.
some cotton candy grapes.
Aw. Okay, I didn't even know that was a real thing. I thought he was legit just being like funny. Like,
Oh.
It tastes like cotton candy, but I don't know.
No, yeah, they're real.
Okay.
And they really do taste like cotton candy.
All right. And so with that, we get this cute little flirtation interaction between Steve and Noah, and then he ends up asking for her number, which she gives to him. Probably because she's like at this point, like, what's
You done tried.
yeah, and also too,
A for effort.
and she's like over the dating app. She's just like, yeah, let me just fuck it. Basically, I
Yeah.
feel like is the mentality. And so then she the next day she's talking to Molly again,
Oh,
right?
you want to mention your fresh meat sign though?
Oh, yes, yeah. So right over whenever they're meeting each other and stuff, we get a sign that says fresh meats because obviously they're by the deli or whatever fresh meat section.
Yeah, they're in the like fruits and veggies, but like right behind it is
fresh meats.
fresh meats.
Yeah.
And so you're getting little hints bloop,
Of
bloop,
what's happening, foreshadowing for the future. And then we cut to the next day, and then she's talking to Molly again, right? Because they're getting hot dogs.
Yeah, and she fucking calls it. She was like, he's probably married.
He's probably married.
And I said, Molly done called it.
Literally. Molly's on her shit. Molly's seen some things. Molly knows what's going on. And so, yeah, they're talking. Noah is obviously talking about how, like, she's into him. She kind of wants to give it a chance. And then that's whenever Molly's also kind of just, like, saying, like, fuck it, get the dick, right? That's it?
It's a little bit later.
Oh,
but she is basically saying, like, you know what, go for it. And because then I think Noah had said, like he hasn't texted yet. And she was like, see, that's why I date women. They don't play games. Like, there's none of these games. It's just the emotional dependency.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Codependency. Yes.
Emotional codependency.
And then Noah later says, will you come over? I need some emotional dependency. She was like, my emotional dependency ain't cheap.
Not cheap. Means buy me some pizza.
LOL. But as she's leaving, she gets a text that we can only assume is from Steve.
Yep.
Because
she lights up.
Smiles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
the next scene
is her meeting him up at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming he was like, hey, let's get some drinks tonight. I really liked you the other day. And so, she meets him at this cute bar. And
it was very cute.
I liked it. Yeah,
I
was
would
like,
drink there.
I want to go there.
He's like, they got some bears.
Mm-hmm. And then she obviously orders her drink. He orders his drink, and they get to chatting. We get this cute kind of like, not a montage. I always want to say that word, but like scene where they're talking about different things. He gets to telling her that he's a plastic surgeon.
And he's from Texas. And I put, he's just a part of the family. What is the name of the family?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
Yeah.
I
completely drew
the Sawyers in one movie.
That sounds right.
And then there's something else in a different version, but I believe it's the Sawyers. Yeah. And so
this is an elevated Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
really,
basically.
Very much so. Yeah, just a little bit more class to it, I guess.
Not quite as.
And at this point, though, so I do want to mention, like, as talking about it as if we don't know already what's going to happen. When you're first watching this, you really think, like, this is a rom-com. Like, this is, like, so, like, okay, it's a bad dating apps, obviously. She's meeting this guy. They're getting really cute and flirty.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to fall in love, or, like, something's going to happen, you know? Because at that point, for me, at least, I don't think I got bad vibes or bad juju from him just yet.
I guess I did because I knew that it was a thriller. And so maybe that gave it away for me, but
tipped off the hat.
Yeah, to me, something about him seemed very creepy, though, very forced. And it also gave me very, like, especially later on when he's texting from her phone, that show you.
Oh yeah,
I finally got the name right this time. I still haven't even finished it because I can't. It's just the same shit. Anyways. It gives me those kind of vibes. Like, he gives me those vibes where I'm just like, no, you're trying a little too hard, bud. Something's off.
Yeah.
I think I just naturally don't trust people, too.
Yeah, I can see that. And I can also see how, like you said, because you already know this is not going to be, we're a horror movie. We're watching this because we're a horror movie podcast. Like, something's up with this
Something's got to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're talking, and then we get like another segue where I guess they moved to a different spot away from the bar, and they're talking even more, and she gets to telling him, like, I really hate this. I don't like dating. I don't like the whole getting to, like, know someone else. Like, it's really, like, I guess more of a chore for her. And then probably because she doesn't have good experiences regarding it as well.
Dating is terrible.
It's very
it's exhausting.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like, having to sit there and meet different men. Like, one time I went on 3 dates in one day. That was my own fault. What an exhausting day.
3 dates on one day?
Yeah.
Like, was it like a breakfast, lunch, dinner situation?
No, it was like drinks after work, then dinner, and then late night. So it was like, at one, I had like planned to meet up with this dude.
Yeah.
And we met up.
I want to watch this movie.
We met up and got drinks, and it just like, it really like no connection in person.
Yeah.
Like we got along fine enough over text. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And nothing ever, this was the only time we ever met up, and we like met up and stuff. And then so afterwards I was like, well, fuck it, I'm hungry. So I'm going to go to Torchy's.
Yeah.
And I went to Torchy's and like texted this other guy and was like, hey, do you want to grab dinner? I'll meet you at Torchy's. And then this motherfucker pulls up, not looking at anything like his profile picture did. It was like a 4-year-old picture, and he looked drastically different. I did not recognize him when he started talking to me. I was like, who the fuck are you?
Oh, no.
And this guy, again, wonderful. We had really amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Good conversationalist. He was very smart and stuff. All around good guy. I was just very, no physical connection. And so... But then on the way out, before he got there, the bartender at Torchy's was someone who had asked for my number before. Yeah. And then he like got a new phone or something. And then he was like, yo, I I don't have your number anymore.
Yeah.
Can I get your number? And then like text me fucking immediately. But he was on his way off of the shift. And so like he left, other dude came in. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going home with this guy either. So I texted that guy.
I love that. This is like the best story I've ever heard, Caitlin.
Yeah, that was a mess.
No, that's living your best life.
And it was a mess. I didn't end up actually going home with him either, but it was exhausting. And I was just like,
that's a lot to juggle. That's a lot of personalities and a lot of energy.
The best part is that the second guy who I ate dinner with, he was like, yeah, I was actually a true love right before I saw that you were there with another man.
Oh gosh. Getting the drinks.
He saw, and I was like, yeah, it just didn't end up working out. So
that's so funny.
I was like, fuck, I got caught on my shit.
Literally. But
good
hey,
thing he
still
didn't see
showed
me
up.
getting the other guy's number right before he walked out.
He still showed up.
He did.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him either.
I love the story. That is the best thing I've ever heard. 3 dates in 1 day. You know what? Yeah. I want to see that movie. I want to see that. I want to read that book. I want to see the movie. I want to see the limited TV series. Like all of it. And we're gonna add murder into it.
Yes,
of course.
And I'll be the murderer.
Yeah.
I killed all of these men.
But like
afterwards.
throughout the whole thing, it's gonna look like you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be pinpointing like another ex-lover of yours or something like that.
And I've got it. Then we got very Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah. All the ex-lovers start coming out.
Fighting for me.
Hulu, Shudder.
Get
Anybody?
on it. Get on Caitlin's dating life. I've had some extreme dating.
I would love to watch a movie and it's Caitlin and it's spelled like this. Like how fucking like
adjust my name.
Your
spelled
name.
Correctly.
Your name.
I
would watch that.
Dun.
Literally.
I like it. I'd watch it too.
It's just called Caitlin.
Okay, come on. Make a movie of me.
Okay.
Emma Stone can play me.
Jeffrey, make a movie of Caitlin.
Yeah, Jeffrey.
And so, do we want to take a break?
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right, it is here. It's not back, it's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
Oh, I was wondering. So whenever he meets them and like, because, you know, he's asking all the questions about her and stuff. So if she did have a family that she was like super connected to, does he just dip?
Them. I think so. He probably finds a way to just be like, oh, this
Or I was wondering if he did like prior research to meeting them, like
scoping them out.
Yeah. And then that was the time he made his approach. I don't know either.
That could be a part of the prequel that we never saw of him like scoping her out and then him being at that grocery store not being a coincidence.
Yeah.
And stuff. So yeah.
Because I was just wondering, because he does, he asked her, and she's basically has no family.
Which
she
is
only has Molly.
Very convenient for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And everyone else, as we get later and we meet Penny and stuff, she doesn't have any family either. Yeah. Really, so no one's looking for these people.
They put it together like he was very specifically targeting us.
And so I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so they move to that other place. She's saying she hates dating because don't we all?
It's not that fun. And it's a lot of tedious, like, talking about maybe not so important stuff, or then like you
just very superficial,
or you become the opposite spectrum like me sometimes, and then just like floodgate, let everything out, and then they're like,
that's too much. Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, it's like it's always either or. It's never right in the middle.
I also like, I don't have much of a filter, and I've come to terms with most things in my life. I'm not like ashamed of
it's just
myself
it's
or
how
who
you got
I am.
into where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a part of your story.
I'm just used to being, I mean, what's the point of dicking around it? Yeah. Like I might as well just lay it all out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking batshit.
Because a lot of that
Buckle
stuff,
up.
a lot of that stuff is also the way that like it explains the way like why I react or make the certain noises that I do right now randomly. Like it's just like how I like. You know,
I'm just a weirdo.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been molded and
you're not
shaped by my
weird,
experiences.
You can't hang.
Yeah. You gotta be a little weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're
most
not,
definitely.
everyone's a little weird.
A little weird, but
and
some
if
people
you're
are weirder
not,
than others.
something's wrong with
and
you.
I like the weirder people.
Yeah, we are the weirdos.
We are queerdos.
Queerdos. That's us. Oh, I love
and so then we have them after getting along at this bar and talking. They end up back at her place, and there's that scene where people walk through the door and they're like slurping place with each other, and then obviously
I put here whenever right as they got into the house, I was like, he got them crazy eyes.
Yeah, it got them crazy drunky eyes. And so then he kind of stops because he's like, is this too soon? And obviously she's like falls in love with him, saying like, oh, is it too soon? No man has ever said that. Every man just wants to fuck me. And so which is true. And so then we have her, and I love this because he ends up sitting down in the little couchy thing, and then she was like, can I get you anything to drink? Can I get you anything to eat? And he's like, no, just you. And which I didn't catch the first time I saw him. When I watched it the second time, I'm like, oh,
very clever.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. And then it brings, I mean, I don't know, I just assume this is something that everyone does with their partner, but like all the time when Andrew, like I'll ask Andrew, what do you want to eat? And he's like, you. And I'm like, I'm not a fucking meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say that to Robert too.
Yeah.
Like, you. Mm-hmm.
And I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do it to him.
By his little arm or something.
Little nibble. His dick.
Well, sometimes.
Oh, but hopefully not like she does.
Oh yeah. Oh God. And so we have that happening, and then they start listening to some music.
Oh,
and
her house is so cute. Sorry.
Yeah, her house is. I like her place. Yeah. I like both. Yeah, all the
both,
places.
Yeah, I put Steve fucking living in my dream home.
All the settings and stuff. Yeah, his house was so like Art Deco.
Yeah, mid-century.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, excuse me, guys. And like 70s retro vibes, like all this, like all the colors.
Yeah, I mean the
oranges
orange carpet
and the blues and the lighting, and like it was just really warm and nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that door, the entrance. Yeah,
everything beautiful. Loved it.
And the way it's tucked away in the woods.
For you to get murdered in.
Yup. Not Cotton Grove. And so we have them then just kind of getting along. We end up in the bedroom with them, and then they start doing the dirty, and then they start the music. I like the music that's playing the whole time.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. But
I can't remember
everything
the name,
was
but I know I liked it.
So well placed.
And so, then we have them waking up the next morning after doing all of that, and then she takes a picture of him, which comes up, which is very important for the other part of the film. But the way she takes a picture of him, he's like, sleepy. So you only see half of his face. So you can't like really.
And the shadow too of her phone with the light. Yeah.
I'm like, you can't really make out exactly who
makes
it is.
Very
makes it harder.
Clear. Unclear. Not clear.
Because you could say that's any white man.
It really could be.
Yeah. Literally. And so we then have. Oh yeah, he then kind of gets up a little bit, and they have this little like playful banter. She's gonna make him coffee for the morning breath, and then after that, she's taking a shower. It's the way I thought he was gonna be in the shower with her, but he was not.
I know, because it was some very sensual shots.
The way she's just like
grabbing her neck.
He
it was very beautiful.
Assuming he left, and then she ends up calling Molly, and she's like, "We had sex."
And then this is where Molly's like, "Get that D."
Yeah, there we go.
Like, yeah,
and then
Molly.
that's whenever Noah is telling her just kind of more about that date and stuff. And then after that,
and they say, love you more again. Love you more. And it's like, this is clearly their thing. It wasn't, because at first, like the first time it could just be like, oh, that's like just like a random thing that they say. But they've now done it so many times that it's like, okay, no, they always say love you, and the correct response is love you more.
And then I know in my notes here, I think I skipped to like when they're having dinner, but I know that something happens like in between that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just put this motherfucker saying he don't eat animals, so I skipped to having dinner too. So maybe it just actually
kind of
goes
like
to
a
dinner.
little transitional, whatever scene, And so then we have them having the dinner, and
she's eating short ribs, and he's like, I don't eat animals. And
literally. Yeah, so funny.
You don't.
And so
this movie did make me very glad I was a vegetarian. Like a lot of the times, whenever Paul, the bartender, so Paul was their bartender when they first went on a date.
Oh, we should have mentioned that. That was kind of, because he'll come back.
On that phone call where she was just telling Molly that they fucked.
Oh yeah.
She goes, "You remember Paul?" And Molly's like, "Paul." And it's the way that I've been like,
I forget.
I've forgotten a boyfriend that I dated for like a year and 7 months. I completely forgot his name. And I was like, what the fuck?
A year and 7 months. You were disassociated for a year and 7 months. That's what that tells me.
This is the one who kept telling me that I needed to calm down because like he wanted to be a politician and that I needed to be more of a better trophy wife.
Is he a politician?
I don't know, but he does support Trump.
He's a loser.
And he's brown. So I'm like, literally, do you think Trump is smart enough to tell the difference? To him, you're just a person of color, and you do not fit in his ideal America. I don't know. Anyways, that's aside. But like, so when she was like, Paul, who's Paul? Oh, Paul. Aw, like Paul. And she loves him. But he does come into play, but also not as much as I thought.
Because it ends up really being like,
the way he kind of dips is like, oh.
So then what was the point other than giving her the name?
Yes, exactly. So, like they could have just left it there instead of him like trying to find her and stuff.
Yeah.
The rest of his involvement was kind of like,
I feel like that added like an extra 3 minutes we didn't need.
Yeah, exactly. But there's a scene where he's eating that burger in his car. And the way it like bit sloppy into it, it was like,
yeah.
And that was when I was like, I want to be vegetarian.
You don't like people, do you? And also I feel like, Caitlin, you would be someone who doesn't like to watch people eat. Like you don't like the like.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to. I'm not into that ASMR kind of. That I don't want an up close.
There was a lot of those moments in this movie where I was like, oh, why does it sound like wet?
Yeah,
like wet food, like a cat eating wet food.
Yes, yeah, like my kittens eating their little wet food.
I showed Robert the picture of little Yami with the little food on his face.
Oh yes,
and she was like, "That's so cute."
It gives I threw up vibes. That one's Suki.
Cute. Oh, that's Suki.
Suki's the long-haired.
Oh my bad. The one that's darker colored.
Yeah.
Oh my bad. I thought that was Yams.
Yams is the light striped one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad.
It's confusing when you haven't met him in person too.
Gotcha.
So when you do.
So Suki is the one that I think is super cute.
Yeah. Suki is the favorite with everyone's like, whenever they see Suki, they're like, oh my god, Suki's so cute.
And I told you that
Yams is smart.
The striped ones, Yams, like she looks mischievous. That's why I'm like, she looks like she's plotting something.
Yeah. And she is. She's smart. This motherfucker. She gets everywhere, and I'm like, God damn it.
How much bigger are they now?
Well, yeah, they're apparently. My mom was like, whoa, they're already so much bigger than the last time she had seen them. And then when Levin came into town, he was like, wow, they're already so much bigger.
Yeah.
I got 2 kittens, by the way. You guys.
Oh, you guys. We're talking about kitties.
Yeah, we're talking about kittens. Anyways, they're I'm transitioning them to dry food. But they eat their little wet food. And it sounded exactly like that. Just.
Yeah. It's like I like it and don't like it at the same time.
Mac and cheese, wet pussy.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. I would know. JK. I really don't. And so then we have them. Oh gosh. Oh, she was talking to Molly, right? That's where we were. The dinner. And he doesn't eat fucking animals, and we're like, what? That's some bullshit because we know some shit's about to go down. And so then, and I also the way she starts feeling bad for eating the ribs in front of him. She's like, these are my favorite ribs. Oh no, now I feel bad. I'm like, little do you know, bitch.
Yeah, he would eat your ribs.
Literally,
that's what he's dreaming
the meat
of.
Right off of him. And so, you go.
She gets up and then he's like, hey, have you told anyone about me?
Yeah, that's right.
And she's like, maybe. And he was like, who? And at first it seems like, especially when you're watching it, it does seem like, because that is something you ask. Like, hey, have you told your friends about me kind of things?
Yeah,
because for a while, most of the time people keep it pretty secret. Not me. The moment I do anything, I'm like, texting y'all.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's what
listen.
we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but she is a little more reserved and has her one friend, and so she tells
like
Molly.
Just Molly. Yeah. And it's the way he's asked about her a little bit, and then she's like, you would like her, you all would get along, and which kind of comes into play later.
Yeah, it does.
Again. And so yeah, at that point it does give a little like sus the way he's kind of like, whoa.
It seems like he's keeping tabs.
Exactly. And like he really doesn't want anybody to know about him, kind of. And so then we have him asking her to dance. And he does this like, we should dance. He's like,
Yeah.
thing. And then
Little
they
shoulders.
do a little dancing moment. It's
And
kind
it's
of cute.
cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. At this point, we're still
And her
thinking,
coffee
like,
table's so cute.
at this point, it's still rom-com-ish. So,
It is,
you
yeah.
know, we're not getting the whole scope of what's happening. And then they do the little dancing bit, and then they sit on the couch or little love seat thing, and he's like talking about, let's go away.
Let's
Like,
get away.
let's go on a trip.
Never trust a motherfucker who wants to get away.
Literally, and you just met him. Like, you don't know this guy.
Yeah,
one
maybe
bit.
they've been seeing each other for like a week.
2 weeks, maybe
2
max.
weeks,
Not
yeah.
even that. I feel like this happened really fast.
Yes.
And so that's whenever she starts telling Molly about it the next
Molly's
day.
like,
And Molly's like, I don't like this. This is not cute. This is not the tea.
Molly
like,
picking up on all the red flags.
and Molly's at a club or something, right?
Yeah,
Like,
she
she's
just
like
goes
in
to the
restroom.
bathroom.
Yes.
Sits down.
Like, literally. I love Molly's life. I feel like Molly has like the most fun
Yes.
life. Like,
And Molly out here being a fashion icon
yeah.
too, with all of her outfits.
I wrote that
this
down.
Outfit.
Yes.
Cute.
Actually, a lot of the styling between like his coats and then like her styling, they were pretty well styled. Everyone but Chad.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which was intentional.
Yeah. And so yeah, we have her telling that, but
Chad.
Molly's obviously like, no, this doesn't sound right. It's a little shady. She is basically just like telling her be careful. And so obviously Noah's like, you know, I'll text you, I'll call you, like I'll send you my location kind of thing, like what you would tell a friend.
Yeah. I'll let you know when I get there.
Yeah. And then she's just like, okay, like basically all Molly at this point can do is just like, well, how, you know,
Support
be
you.
supportive, you know.
Every straight girl's dream.
And so then we have her coming up to his place, or he's picking her up.
He's
that's
picking
right.
her up.
And getting her luggage. And then that's whenever he's like, we can't leave until tomorrow morning because the traffic's
traffic's too bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, traffic is bad enough to warrant not leaving when planned. Like, unless there is some, I don't know, like a fucking.
like you can't leave.
Yeah, like a storm or something. And then,
Yeah.
or a cave. What is that called when they like a rock slide.
Rock slide or a sinkhole.
Yeah,
like
something where
things
the
that are,
road
like,
is like
If we're just
completely.
gonna be like moving slow for at least 2 let's get it done. Like let's just get
Yeah,
there
at
by
least
tonight.
get on the road
Yeah.
and not get there late.
Postponed.
Yeah.
And so we have her then just kind of being like, okay, yeah, this is cool, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna take you to my place. And so then we have them getting the vehicle. He's driving her, and it's the way that I'm like, girl, do you not notice he's like, it's taking forever to get.
I know.
wherever
I
y'all
was
are
like,
going.
where you
Where is
telling
he
me he
taking you?
drives into the city to go to that grocery store?
Exactly.
Unless he was, maybe it was if he was going over to his sister and niece's house, because he references a sister and niece, and I wonder if
Yeah, that's
his
true.
sister is like Anna, but not Anna. But like
Yeah.
if that's who he's like referencing whenever he says, like whenever she smells the candle and he's like, my sister gave it to me. I wonder
Yeah.
if it was just
Oh,
Anna
yeah,
who gave
yeah.
it to him.
Probably.
And-
Maybe. Yeah. You know what? Probably. And the niece
apparently
maybe
I
might
like
have been his
sandalwood.
kids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looked like
But
he had
also,
two
too,
boys.
He did have 2 boys. And also, too, though, I'm just like, how rich did he making bank off this flesh? Because he got that house, he got that big mansion, he got like, okay, the nice
He
car.
is. I mean, that one plate, he said, this is a $30,000 meal.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it had like one little chunk of meat on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's chopping up whole ass bodies.
Literally, so you can sell a lot for all of that.
This boy is probably one of the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
He's living pretty discreet.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Considering.
I guess you have to stay under
Yeah.
the radar, not draw attention to yourself. And so, yeah, he ends up taking her to his really nice home. The driveway, I don't get why it has fucking holes in it and grass can come through it, but apparently it's aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yeah. That it is a type of.
People like that.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
there's
see
no
it.
cell
I
service
have
on
no
the way
trypophobia
out.
either. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no cell service. And I put no cell service is a red flag. I put this whole movie as a red flag.
This is turning into a big no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, he's taking her to the middle of nowhere. They finally, they that's when we get the mention of the no service. He's like, it'll get better when we're at my place. And I'm thinking like, no, you got a blocker. You got it with you this whole time.
Yeah.
And so they are finally getting to that place. They get to the driveway. His house is really nice. It's obviously like a huge mansion.
The fresh air.
And then it pans up to them walking into the house. And then like you just get this ominous like wind blowing of the trees. And it's obviously like in the middle of like nowhere.
I just watched Jurassic Park before it.
Oh, really? I love Jurassic Park. It's one of my favorite movies.
Or I guess maybe I watched it after it. But anyways, the way how tall that tree was, I just imagined the
T-Rex,
the long neck, little foot, eating it.
The Brontosaurus, Brachiosaurus. Yeah,
I didn't want to say the wrong name, so I just saw that tree and I was like, oh, Littlefoot would eat that.
There's a lot of long neck dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. Okay, and so yeah, we have them getting into the house now, and he starts making her. She's obviously noticing how nice the place is.
Yeah,
and
because
she's
it's
looking
nice.
around at everything.
He really is out there living in my dream home.
And then we have him making drinks for her, and he's like, "I'm gonna make you an old fashioned, but it's got a special little thing to it, ingredient." And so then he finally gets to the drink as well, and then and
before that, she had said. She tried to text Molly again.
That's right.
And she was like, hey, do you have Wi-Fi? And he was like, oh, it must have gone out again. And you see her pause then and go like,
that's weird.
That's a little weird. And I was like, okay, well, at least she's smart enough to kind of pause as he says there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And so then we have, and it's the way I'm just like, as he's kind of talking to her, making the drink, I'm thinking like, girl, do not drink this drink. You're not even watching him. Like, why aren't you watching him? And so then she's obviously distracted. She's looking at some art that's on the wall that comes up later.
I really thought some pieces of body parts were going to be in there.
I thought so too. I thought it was like something more like that.
She's going to see a tongue or some shit when she got close enough. But I mean, the painting was important.
It is important because of what
is behind it.
What is behind it, but also too the style of painting. Yeah, it did feel like almost like the texture of it. It gave me like flesh.
Yes.
In a way. And different, and all the colors was like all the different women and all the different people.
Yes. It did seem very suggestive.
And so we have then her getting the drink. She ends up drinking it, obviously, and they're having conversation. They're sitting on the couch, and
he's like, "There's an interesting flavor." He's like, "Can you tell the like interesting flavor?" And I was like, "The interesting flavor in it would be the goddamn drugs you put in it,
literally." The roofie. And so then I love how the effects of the cinematography of like how whenever it's her perspective looking at him, it starts getting a little psychedelic looking, a little hazy, because we know that she's getting drugged at this point. And
you can see her reaction start to be slightly slower.
And she ends up passing out as he asks her to move closer to him.
And he's really acting up until the last second. Like, it's clear that she's not coherent
and he's
anymore.
Just keeping up like and nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Everything's really normal. Because to him, this is all planned. And also, too, maybe just to keep her calm and like not like
stress her out, because stress and fear is bad for the meat, he says.
And then we have her literally knocking out. And then we have, after that,
this is where the title and the credit comes. And it's like, oh, damn. I loved that.
I loved that as well.
I loved the way
it was 33 minutes in.
Yeah.
The way it was like imposed and you could
on the wall.
Opaque, like, translucent or whatever. And then the cool credits coming in, almost like
very trippy too.
I liked it. It's very like an AHS, like opening sequence type of title sequence.
It was cool. And it was going almost through like a fisheye lens, the way that it would, and it was like on actual film. And because you remember in The Ring, whenever she's editing the film, and whenever she keeps turning the knob and the picture like kind of skews and pulls and you can almost see a little bit. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
I can see that. Like a Super 8 film.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know how to actually what it's called. So, but yeah, it was really cool. And it does. It's a very clear turning point in the film. And so
very much so.
This was the big twist that everyone was talking about.
This is the big twist because at this point you kind of just think like, oh, it's a rom-com, like or a thriller, but not necessarily because and then I think the twist even more so comes up when he like starts telling her, "This is what I'm going to do to you."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because so everyone was like, "There's a major twist at the end," so I just kept waiting and waiting, and I was like, what is the twist? I was like sitting there thinking like somehow Noah's going to be in on it or like take over kind of thing.
And
or like,
see if you're watching that with that expectation throughout the whole movie, you're like, wait,
where's like the twist? Yeah. Because to me, I was like, clearly he was sus. Yeah. All these red flags were happening. Like I was with Molly the whole time. Like, no. No. Now, if I was in the situation, would I be thinking differently and be acting more like Noah was? Yes, I would.
I think it's
a little more
different when
blind
you
to
put
it.
yourself
Mm-hmm.
in their shoes, but like also, yeah, like I don't know why I didn't even like catch onto all the sus when I first watched it, as opposed to watching it the second time. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, the second time through, you can definitely see from the beginning.
Very clearly, like laying all those hints, all the like little references throughout the music and throughout the like the visuals. So yeah, but yeah, I do like how like we're barely 33 minutes into the movie and we get this sequence, and then because it's basically almost like an intermission, because it kind of cuts up the movie from like, this was the first half and now this is the second half.
Yeah,
and this is what's going to happen now.
And it's so odd to have it, to basically have your title card and entry with like your opening credits 33 minutes into the film.
Nobody does that.
Yeah, no one does that. That's really cool.
I don't know what precedent there is for that. Like, I haven't seen anyone else do that, and maybe I just haven't seen that movie and they're out there, but like obviously I saw this one. I didn't see those. So.
Yeah, and it was really cool. Yeah, I thought that was a wonderful.
It was very effective. Mm-hmm. And so this whole movie with aesthetics, like, it's just so nice. Yeah, seems very contemporary. But like it's almost like artful. Like yeah, I don't know. For the subject matter. Yeah, you know, like
beautifully
we talked earlier. And so yeah, we have Noah then waking up.
But I mean, at least the carpet's cool in her room.
I know, right? Yeah, I like the setup.
Her room is pretty cute.
It had like that nice like scene on the wall, and
he's like, "I got you a sunset."
And so,
like, fuck you, dude.
Literally,
fuck you.
So she wakes up chained. And
of course, he's in a goddamn turtleneck,
and he's very chill about
because turtleneck's a sure sign of a serial killer.
And he's very chill about like the whole situation that's going on right now, and she's just kind of like, "What? Like, let me out, let me out." And she starts telling him,
because at first she doesn't realize
that she's chained up.
And then he's like, because she's like, "What happened?" Because he asks her like, "How'd you sleep?"
I love
kind
it.
of stuff.
And she's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I drugged you."
I drugged you. And she was like, "No." Yeah. And then she's chained up and was like, then you can see as the reality of the situation really starts sinking in. That's scary. Which was good. She did a wonderful job of like portraying all those ranges of emotions. Too. I
was like, this is having a very real visceral reaction to like what, like,
also,
shock,
so
fear.
Yesterday or the other day, I was listening to Us. And I had said something. It was like making very visceral reactions come out of me. And, you know, and like, no, you've never seen The Princess Bride.
No. What happens in
there's
that one?
There's this point where he goes, that word, like, I don't think it means what you think it means. And visceral, I've used it. And then you just used it now too.
In the wrong context? Yeah. Oh, wow.
We both have. It's been, so visceral is like, means internal. And
that's supposed to be
visceral
external
organs and stuff, and so it's very deep down, a very deep seated feeling is kind of what it means, or
as opposed to the emoting. Gotcha.
So, anyways, I was gonna bring it up because I literally last week's episode I said that, and then I was like, oh, I was like, okay. What does that word mean?
This is not a dictionary podcast.
No, we don't know
Webster's words. No.
I just thought it was
BooBaes. But I get it. And oh my God, yeah, no. Now I know, and I won't be using that word that way.
I'm still
Or at least in a different way. I feel like a lot of people use it that way, though, the way we use it.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I've definitely heard it like that before.
But if you're emoting so much, isn't a visceral reaction like
because it comes from deep within. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
I don't know.
We're gonna leave it.
Visceral means very strong reactions
for BooBaes.
For BooBaes.
Yeah.
We're
gonna have our own dictionary and what all these words mean for us. And so yeah, we have him being very upfront about like because she then asks, "Are you gonna rape me?" And then he's like, "No, oh God, no, I would never do that. That's horrible." And then he's just like, "I'm just gonna sell your meat." Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, after and the way that yells at her to calm her down,
because she's like, losing her mind, and then he's like, "No!"
Yeah.
Like, oh, and that was good.
Yeah.
I loved that scene of him, just that quick, because it does. It resets you too.
Yeah. And because she's used to this, like, this was this dude who was being super sweet to her and super nice. She was so like falling for him, and then he's just like got her chained up. She's freaking out, and he just yells at her.
Yeah.
The face that she made, I was just like, I felt it.
The fuck? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, "There you are," and it's like,
I'm gonna sell your meat
and your hair.
and your hair.
Yep.
Because people are into that shit.
And he says, I'm going to keep you alive for as long as I can because the fresher the meat, the better.
Yeah.
Basically. And he's going to, you know, chop her up slowly, little by little. And
I love it. I love
sell
how
her off.
we're pretty much only like at 30 something into the movie.
I know.
There's so much to go into this movie.
There is.
And so yeah, we have her then Molly is trying to get a hold of Noah, right? Because she's at work and she's trying to get a hold of her, or she's at the gym. That's right. She's at the gym or somewhere because there's ladies behind her changing in the locker room. And so, or her boxing gym probably. And then we have her trying to get information from Noah, texting her like, hey, like, where'd you go kind of thing. And then she's like, we went to Cotton Grove. Noah's telling Molly, we went to Cotton Grove, sends her this really generic ass picture of like where they're at, and then tells her basically like, hey, I'm not getting any service out here, so
I'll call when I can. And
Molly already is like, that's weird.
Yeah, she's like, no. And this is that like creepo you shit. Basically, he's pulling with texting her from the phone.
Yeah.
But then we flash back, and this is where we get to meet Penny and Melissa. Although Melissa's already pretty gone at this point.
Yeah. Melissa's lost it. And because Noah's screaming, that's right. And then the girl, Penny, is the one that's like, hey, hello, right? Yeah.
And she's like, help me. And she's like, because Penny says he's not here. And then Noah's like freaking out, like, oh my God, someone else is here. Like, please help me.
Yeah.
And then Penny's basically like, I can't help you. I'm in the same boat. And then, then they get to kind of talk. And then she was, when she screams for Melissa, she's like, there's more of us. And then she's like, Melissa, are you there? And then Melissa just starts singing. Which Melissa's pretty gone.
That makes sense. I mean, when you're chained up and in a place where you don't even know like what the time of day and whatever, you like go insane.
Yeah. And your body's being taken away from you
all the shock,
bit by bit.
Literally,
yeah. You kind of have to. But then we flash back to Detective Molly to the rescue.
Because she's at work now and she's Google searching like
Cotton Grove
and his name, trying to figure out like who he is, and then she finds she's so smart looking up the Google image like to see like
reverse
where
image
it's from.
searching.
Exactly. And also too, I looked it up. Whenever this is going on, the song that's playing, it's called it's by an artist, but it's called like Piece of Me or something, and the lyrics were literally saying like, I'll let you have a piece of me, I hope you it's the right piece or something, like I'll let you have a piece of me so you can have your peace of mind or something like that.
I see.
Yeah.
So lots of, and then the mannequin's head falls off and kind of brings Molly back to it. That's too true. So there's lots of little things that are like
of the bod, like I didn't even think about that, of like how that could be a metaphor. I thought it was just like, oh, coworker like knocked her, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just very convenient that she had a mannequin. It could have been anything else she was
literally
carrying.
It could have been a cup of coffee, could have been her dropping a like stapler,
notebook,
but it was a fucking mannequin. Yeah, you're right.
And his little head rolled. So so she basically says like, send more pictures, and then she's like, I'm gonna turn my phone off for a little bit, and she's like, what? Like, no, that's weird. And she's like, but okay, love you. And then she gets just a little heart back from Noah and not love you more. Yeah. And so that's like, But yeah, she reverse images, search whatever that image. And I'm like, boy, you couldn't have picked a photo that was buried a little deeper on the web. Like you had to find literally the first picture. Literally the first link.
Yeah. He did not do that great. I was trying to cover that up. And so then we have all of that shit. She looks it up, and then we have him back. This is the montage where he starts, making all the packages that he's gonna deliver to all these people.
It felt like what is that?
Like those 70s, 80s movies, like
where he slides in the risky business. Yeah, it gave like that.
It gave very like Ferris Bueller Days Off, like kind of thing. Like he is listening to jamming, like literally, and putting up the packages. He goes and gets a leg.
Yep.
It's the leg from the dumbwaiter, and he starts cutting it up, pounding it and tenderizing it, and then we get him go, like we see then that he's collects hair, obviously, like you said earlier, and like their clothing and like little sheets, little pieces of paper that have like the picture of who it is with like probably a little Sarah.
Insert.
She liked hiking and she liked to live like this. She was a proud sponsor of the women's.
She was grass fed. She was vegan.
Literally. And so we have him doing all this, and the way that it feels so like, wow, I'm like, he's legit, like, I was like flabbergasted, like to watch, like, damn, like
such a happy scene while they're literally like pulverizing meat
from
of
people,
a person's
and it's
leg.
like, wow, these are like dead people that are just getting like, yeah, it's crazy because it makes you feel like,
because whenever he sets the like slab of her leg down, so it's like clearly it's taken from, you know, the top of her thigh, disconnected from her hip bone, but then you do get a little bit of the knee, and it goes down slightly below the knee,
the calf,
so right above
where the ankle would be cut off.
Yeah,
right? Like,
well, did it go down that low? I think
like
it went.
I feel like it came like to like right here.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little bit higher, like right there. I don't know, but whenever he sits it down, and you can see the like
bone popping out, and, like, the flesh, and how it like jiggled.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
gross. And the way that he's like cutting the meat off, it's very like picturesque, and I imagine that would look like a good chunk of meat. I don't know.
It didn't look. I mean, like if you look at it and it didn't look like. I don't think like, oh, that's human meat. I'm like, oh, what kind of beef is that? Like,
like it was very well marbled.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right? For meat.
Yeah.
Marbling.
And so he's doing all that. He's making like these personalized boxes with the victim shit. And it's like a whole like service basically. I'm sure it's like I feel like it's a subscription service, and he like sends them a box like every month or week or something, whatever, you know, for probably $50,000, you know.
Yeah.
And so we have then homeboy with the longest ponytail I've ever seen, walking out with the boxes, taking them to a vehicle, and I guess he's like the delivery guy or takes them to wherever they need to go, the middleman. And so we have that, and then it switches over to him then bringing her food into her little cell area, and it doesn't look that great to be H. And then
I thought it did look kind of good.
It was like chocolate cake, fettuccine Alfredo, and a drink.
I think
some
French fries.
French fries, yeah. You know,
very
actually,
odd
now
pairing.
I'm hungry. Yeah. And so he brought her the food. She obviously doesn't want to eat it. He's
like, you're still grumpy.
And so then he's like, okay, I'll let you out, kind of thing, but you have to be good.
Yeah, she asked to shower.
That's
and
right.
It's like, that's smart, asking to shower, but she really should have played for the long haul, gained his trust the first time, got her bearings on the place, and then tried.
Yeah, because homegirls kind of take a looking around and it's good for us as the audience, because then we get to see like how deep she's in this house. She's like in a basement, there's a locked door, and then like you go up, and then like and so then we have her, what seems to be trying to get a lay of the land, as what I thought it was, but no, like literally as she gets down the hallway, she tries to escape from him, and it's the way I'm like, where did you think you were going?
Yeah,
because you obviously don't know where you're going.
Exactly.
And she couldn't have waited until like they got to the restroom, or like they got somewhere where it's like
where she had a clear sight of the front door,
or had like could grab something. Like she's in a hallway, you can't grab anything from a hallway to try to hit him or do anything. Like fight. So.
And while it is like a kind of confined area, so you're thinking, oh, maybe I can minimize his movements. Your movements are minimized as well.
Yeah.
So it's just not going to work out great.
Yeah.
It just wasn't very good timing. But I mean,
and also too, when she's trying to escape, and there's that whole scene where they're like pulling at each other. The music, again, the score,
very good.
It's like the strings.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, this is really good.
It was a very dramatic scene, and it was very good.
And then whenever he like,
he grabs her and slams her head against the beautiful wood divider,
columns, poles, things.
Yeah. And he says, "Bad girl."
And I
was
love
like,
how it pans into his face. Like, did you get turned on?
A little bit.
Your face. I was like, oh, that's a kink. That is a kink. Customizable kinks.
Customizable kinks.
And so then we have her waking up, obviously in a surgery room. I'm so sad for her.
Me too.
And so she's like, what
also,
the fuck?
Fucking epidurals hurt.
He gave her an epidural because she's like, I can't feel anything. He's like, I gave you an epidural so you won't feel much. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I am taking your ass.
Taking your ass.
He's literally cutting her ass off.
I'm gonna cauterize it so
you're not bloody mess.
Yeah. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I put because another song is playing, and then he like pops into her field of vision and is just singing in her face, like really animated, like. And I said, that's the real horror movie. Homeboy is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Legit.
Just having to sit there. That's torture. Having to sit there and have someone like sing slightly off key.
Chop off your
in
body.
your face.
Chop off your body.
Yeah. While they're chopping off your
and
ass.
Enjoying it. Yeah, of all places, like my butt. And then I'm thinking, like, what is her butt? Like, what does your butt look like when you just get your cheek chopped off?
I know, because then later on I was trying to look at it when she was in the dress, and I was like, it looks like she's still kind of got a little bit of a butt.
Yeah, but
also
still.
beforehand she didn't have like the biggest butt to go off
she was
of.
A little twig.
Yeah, so I was like,
little skinny white girl.
How are you gonna? Where's her butt?
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked like a pretty good
but I felt
butt
bad for her.
when it went into the.
Oh yeah, because it looked like he took like a big old slab of chunk of meat off of it. But that it's just like I don't know, because I feel like is the butt then concave? Like
I don't know, or if it's just flat. I don't
flat.
like. Does it go? Flat. Does it have a? Because it starts to curve at some point.
You probably don't even have a cheek then. It's just like
yeah, I imagine it
leg.
is. But like like whenever you cut something that's not quite, and whenever the entry point. I wonder if it's kind of like a ski slope and then it falls down.
Oh, yeah.
Like where it started curving, but then he cut down and then like, the knife went a little concave, like you said.
Yeah.
And then, if it just kind of goes back out and then butt or leg. I don't know.
We will never know.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'll leave it up to your imagination. And so he took her butt, which is really sad. And so then it's really sad for her. And then we have it after all that mess. We cut back to Molly investigating.
Detective Molly.
Detective Molly. Yeah, she's getting help from the bartender. She's kind of like Paul. She is going with him and kind of asking like, who is she with? Can you like go back and look into records, his credit cards, like any information?
She's like, I just need a name, and he's like, I could lose my job, girl.
And I'm like, I don't think it's that big a deal. But
yeah.
Okay.
Just a name.
Yeah.
No, I know.
And so then she ends up giving him the little puppy dog eyes, little pouty eyes.
Pouty lip.
And so then he ends up saying, like, I'll think about it. I might do it for you. And so
she's playing him like a fiddle.
And so then later on after that, we go back to Penny and Noah, right? Because they're in the well, actually, no. Before that, she's like, it opens up to her like sitting down and using the restroom, right, or something. Like she had to pee because I remember the underwear come down and it's like
and you
all
see the blood in
and
it.
I felt so bad, and I'm like, oh, like how even, and like won't it get infected? Like
I know.
like,
I was wondering. So that's
how
like
do you sit on your butt that's cut up?
That's how I feel about whenever people give birth. I didn't know that you gotta like flush it out after you go to the bathroom afterwards. Clearly, because it's fucking been destroyed. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And then I'm like. But
and then some people like
if you're peeing in it, like doesn't that? I mean, I guess you're cleaning it with a saline solution, but I didn't see no saline solution for her.
The fact that people can tear too from like their vagina to their anus, like
it's fucking terrifying.
Have to stitch that. Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh God,
that feels like
so gross.
It's so painful.
Yeah, I don't understand, but yeah she.
Yeah, we have the whole no, you're good, because after that she starts having the conversation with Penny, right? And they're talking about
Penny's like, how's your ass? And she's like, the pain meds are helping. And then she's like, I can't believe I fucked him or I slept with him.
Yep.
And then
she's
Penny's like,
I never did that.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. And then so I love how it's like sounds like there's judgment there, but then she's like, I'm not slut
shaming you.
Yeah. And she's just like, that just
it's like, bitch, I wasn't thinking that, but now I am.
That must mean that he really likes you or something like that.
Yeah. She's like, I guess it's a compliment because no one else has ever slept with. She's like, I don't think I did. She's like, I didn't, and I don't think any of the others did as well. So clearly
also,
there's
how
something.
long has Penny been fucking here?
Yeah.
Penny seems like she's been there a long time.
She has.
And also, how many rooms does he have? Because when you look at that wall,
it's long. There's got to be. I feel like there's got to be. There's for sure at least 3.
Yeah.
But I feel like there could be
12,
more.
like a dozen rooms down there. Yeah.
But yes. So basically, then we go back to Detective Molly. She gets his name.
Brendan Stephen Kemp.
What a name.
And she looks up his social medias because, earlier we got the red flag as well that he told Noah he didn't have any social medias, which is a very big red flag nowadays.
Yes.
Like you don't even have like a Facebook that you don't
LinkedIn.
even use. Like it never, you still have something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. She finds Anna's.
Yeah.
Anna, his wife.
Yeah.
finds his wife's Facebook.
Yep.
And
she's seeing it. He's married. He's got a couple kids. She was looking at the house that they lived in or whatever.
Yeah, because it
had like
said,
a first
like sold. And then she got his address, which is like damn, people can find out so much about you so easily.
From everything, yeah.
It's so creepy.
We give out so much information willingly, but yet people always, that's why I'm always like, when people freak out about like
the face filters thing.
Or just like other things, like, I don't know.
It's like, bitch, I already got all my information anyways.
Literally. Or like how people are always like, don't do certain the things like because they're going to track you. I'm like, bitch, like we're already being tracked all the time. People,
we literally, we have a social security number.
Literally tracked.
The
way that people always like, when I hear like religious people be like, the mark of the beast is coming, you're going to get chipped, you're going to do this. I'm like, bitch, you have a social, like we're already marked. What are you talking about, girl?
We have a number.
Literally.
We are literally a number.
Literally.
That has been assigned to us.
Yeah.
And then we have these little phones in our pockets all the time that are on us currently.
We have all the apps
constantly.
that track us. We have them listening to us because I will literally be talking about something one day and then 2 days later I'm getting advertised, like whatever it is. Yeah. I think even one, like this past week, like I was thinking about Evanescence, like I was just thinking about Evanescence. Like I didn't even say anything out loud. I was just thinking about Evanescence, and then YouTube gives me like a random recommendation of like Evanescence, and I'm just like, okay, yeah,
I love it.
literally, yeah. I was just like, that. I didn't even know how. Anyways, yeah, bring me to life. And so, anyways, we have all that shit happening. She's learning all this information about him. So obviously now, Miss Molly is like, what do I do now? Like, oh, and also if you notice too, on the Facebook, she had the wife, like in the background, there was a Blue Lives Matter flag and stuff in there. So you can already tell like their affiliations.
Yes.
Not that like,
but they're probably utilizing their connections with the police to get away with what the fuck they're doing.
Exactly.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So I feel like there's a lot of
I was more distracted by why Molly was working in the dark.
That's true.
I was like, bitch, why are you working in the dark? And then the little fax machine whirring to life like gave her a jump scare, and I was like, I feel like
maybe because she was staying after hours to use like their computer system. I don't know.
But I feel like you can still work with the light bulbs on. I don't know. Anyways, but then it cuts back. Not Molly. Noah is sitting there reading a magazine, and the magazine is high key giving her tips for him too. It's like, smile more, trust us, it'll do a world of difference. Like how to make him yours, blah blah blah. And then she finds this little note from another favorite. We find out in the crease of the book, towards the spine. And basically it just says like, if you're reading this, he likes you. Keep it up, sending strength.
Play that.
From Sammy Akbari.
And
what's her name?
We have then he comes back in, right? Because he starts talking to her, and she kind of quite basically is like, why did you sleep with me, right? And so he's just like, I like you, and all of that stuff.
I like you. Yep.
Yeah. I'm like trying to see in my notes. For some reason, I put that she found the note after that little combo, but I feel like
it was after that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had just because I took the notes the second time I was watching it.
We jump. It's okay. I did that earlier, and so anyways, all that is, I mean, roughly happening at the same time, same scenes, and so then we have after that, it's because she's reading the magazine, right? And then she sees that thing, and then Penny's getting yanked.
Yes.
She's getting carried through the hallway screaming. And so then after that, we have her talking through Penny through the wall, because I guess Penny comes back at some point, and she's just like, are you okay? And
trying to make sure that she's still
alive, or I don't know, and
able to has hope of living.
And,
basically,
and at that point you can tell Penny is taking it rough.
Yeah.
Penny's not having a good time anymore because
he's not being as nice to her either.
And also, I mean, if you watch it too, like whenever we first meet Penny, she's like, hey, hi, like it's like, hi, her voice is so like peppy, and it's the way that I'm like, why the fuck is this bitch sounding so peppy?
I think she's borderline on the
losing her mind.
And then
after it though, like at this point, she's just like, I'm tired.
She's like, what do you want?
I'm done.
What do you want?
Yeah, she's like, I don't got anything left in me.
And then she's like, I just want to hurt him. And then she's like, I hope he chokes, and I hope he gets a fucking tapeworm so it eats him from the inside out. And I hope that all those motherfuckers like start shitting out of their eyes and stuff. And it's like, hell yeah. And then Noah says, you're such a sweetheart. And then they like laugh together, and it's a little moment for them.
And then that's after that we have it starts showing the rich people.
Yeah,
right?
we get a flash. You can see them in the boxes
Eating.
because they're like the floor is bubble wrap.
I never noticed that. I'm gonna have to look it up
Because they're so small,
Watch
so
it.
the bubble it looks like big circles on the ground. But I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But it's
No wonder.
bubble wrapped
Okay.
once you have watched the
look
end.
At it. Yeah.
I did not catch that the first time through. It was just the second time I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to
So
look at that again because I did not catch that.
Yeah.
And so we have it showing that the rich people doing that. They're eating they're opening their boxes and eating the human flesh, whatever. And so then after that we have Molly then showing up to the
Out
wife's
here being a fashion icon in her
that
little
jacket.
deer coat.
Oh, that
It looked like a fawn.
fawn. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't a real fawn. But
Probably not. No, nothing these days. It's all got to be faux,
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
well,
I don't
the
know.
leather industry is still really
It's still
big in
r-
fur. But
Oh, yeah.
there
I
are a few more people are being like, okay, yeah,
More
that's
conscious about it, especially like in film. I feel like at least in like TV, I feel like because otherwise you get canceled.
yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we have all that happening. She ends up at the house. She's looking sickening in front of the door, and she like rings a little ring doorbell, and she's like, "Hey, like I need to ask you some questions, like, whatever." Well, I think before that she's on the phone with she talks to Paul, right? Because she's like,
She's at least sent him a text.
Yeah,
And
she's
it's
doing
like,
something,
hey,
yeah.
this is my location.
he's married.
If something
like,
goes wrong.
and he's like, "Oh shit, yeah."
Like, what are you going to do? And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so she goes up, and then like, so as she's approaching Steve's house and stuff, it then also pans back to Noah. And he comes in. You see Steve like wearing the outfit that he will wear. Like
he gives her that drink, and he's like, "I'm so fucking tired."
Yeah, I think maybe that part already happened. What I'm talking about is like he's in his like coat, like he's ready to go home because he's in the same outfit he was in whenever he goes.
And he sees them all. Yeah, at the house.
And then so this is where she asks, "What does it taste like?"
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's right.
she's like playing the part up, and he's like,
yes, because she's in front
"What
of the
does it
mirror.
taste like?"
She's in front of the mirror. Yes, gotcha.
and he's like, "It's fucking exquisite."
If it's prepared right.
Yeah. And then basically she's just like, "Okay," and he's like, "That's it."
Yeah.
That's it. Whatever. And like she just basically ignores him. Is just still looking at herself in the mirror. So then he leaves, but then it flashes back and we get Molly and Anna, the wife, sitting there talking, and she's being like, "Well, I saw him this morning, like before he left for work." Like,
yeah. She's like,
I
"I
don't
really
think-
don't think you have the right house. That's not my husband.
I don't even
can't
think
tell who
that's-
that is.
yeah, him in the picture,
Why
because
don't you go
again,
to the
it's
police if you're that concerned about your friend?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm like, why is she recommending the police? But I mean, once she told them, they'd probably be like, "Oh, we're on their side."
Yeah.
They probably
yeah.
have so much money to pay hush money.
And I'm sure too, like she's playing it up as like very clueless, like she don't know what the fuck's going on very well.
My husband wanted to cheat on me, kind of thing, and
so
which I do think is an actual stress because
yeah.
now, like when she figures out, like, oh,
he's been spending time with this girl, and like it's not just work now; it's more personal.
Yeah.
I feel like that, and also feel like because we learn later on, like
Yeah.
maybe she was in that situation at one point,
and so she's like, "Can I be replaced? Can I be killed?" Kind of thing again. Yeah.
because it's all survival at that point. And so yeah, we have all that happening. Then Steve comes home in the middle of that interaction, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Brendan," going by his first name. She's like, "But you go by Steve." And he's like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "I don't know your friend. I'm sorry. You probably have the wrong house." And he's about to walk her out. And it's the way that she's so smart for then calling herself him. But I'm like, why didn't she wait
till you're
out the
outside?
door, like
Yeah.
outside the door, so you could run away? But yes, she calls Noah's cell phone, and
we
it's
hear,
in his
"Thank you for
pocket.
being a
Yes,
friend."
and I love how he's just like, "Oh, look, it's you."
Oh, it's
And
you.
then
You really shouldn't have done that.
yeah, and then the wife from
And-
behind knocks her out.
Yup. Anna comes.
I love the
knocks Molly
transition
unconscious.
of when she falls, and then it goes into Paul like drinking or doing something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very
A
good.
really cool transition.
Oh, it went into the rich people eating around the table.
Oh, that's what it was.
Again.
Yeah.
And then so then he goes down there, and after we get that little montage of the rich people eating around the table again, we get Steve. I forgot his name. I was like, Paul. No. He goes down and he invites Noah to dinner.
Gives her a
Basically,
bag of clothes and all that stuff, right? To change into.
yeah. He's like,
I
just
picked a few things out.
clean up, and I think it was from her bag, and so it was just stuff that could fit her and
That's
stuff.
true.
And then it flashes back to him with with his wife. And there's a bunch of tension in this bathroom scene. She's like sitting there pulling on her face. And so then I was like, well, is she in on this to like for like stem cell shit and like to make her like younger?
Maybe.
That's
really, I feel like, diving deep into it.
Yeah, and I don't think it was the case. That was just my first
and
thought.
The thought process. Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think she's more thinking like,
her beauty,
oh fuck, like am I getting, am I like old news?
Yeah,
basically.
I can see that. And then he comes in, they're kind of having not conversation.
Yeah, she's just basically, he's like, how'd the boys go down? Good, they asked for you. And then he ignores it.
Yeah. And then he basically is telling her that he has to
I'll be late.
Stay late for work purposes, new product or whatever.
But
that came
really
in,
he's going to have a dinner.
Yeah.
And then whenever he goes and like holds her face before he leaves, because she's like, I'm going to take a shower. And he's like, okay. I was like, I swear to God, if this motherfucker tells her like, we need to get you some lines filled in. I was like, because she was just pulling at her face, because the way that he was just like analyzing her face, I was like.
And then he gives her like a little weird kiss and then walks out. And then that's when we get to see that she sits down to get ready to go into the shower because she's going to take off her clothes, and then we get to find out that it's a prosthesis.
Yep, prosthetic limb.
On the bottom of her it's
one
like
of her legs.
Yeah, it's not her whole leg, but it's like her foot,
knee
ankle,
down,
calf. Yeah, and that's when I like started getting like, was she a part of it? Was she, like,
I feel like she was a victim
of
his at one point.
With her at one point, like I don't know.
Yeah,
enough to have children with her.
1000% think that's what it is.
But then they also have those boys looked at least 8-9 years old.
Yeah, like, so which means he's been doing this for a long time. Yeah. I do think that she was a part of it. They really do leave it up to.
But then at the end, it kind of almost was like she's the mastermind behind it.
I feel like it was Stockholm syndrome. Basically, like they both just kind of got so caught up in this little life. And then she was like,
her life. At some point, she found a way to love him, despite all of that.
Yeah,
shit.
I think she 1000% did love him, and mainly because, well, he was controlling her life.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And then he's obviously clearly unhinged enough to be like, where he can fall in love with these people and be manipulated by them acting like they do share his interest, and then he's like gets excited that someone else is turned on to eating meat with him and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like that's his Achilles heel eventually. And so and I love how like we get that shot of her like taking off the leg and then hobbling into the shower, and then it like quite literally opens up with him running
with both of his fucking legs while he's stealing from others. Yeah,
literally.
That whole scene is really good though,
because it really shows like the juxtaposition of like what's happening and like how he is literally quite just having his cake and eating it too. In every aspect.
These women are literally just pieces of meat to him. Because then he gets back to the house and eats like some like fucking jerky from one of their legs or something, or an arm. I don't know.
Yeah, he does. It looks like jerky. And I'm like, oh, this is so gross. And it's the way he's like starts preparing.
You can see a little tattoo on it. So it's how you know it's human meat.
And he starts preparing dinner for
out there with a fucking chainsaw
for Miss Noah. And so and then it goes into that meat grinder, right?
Yep.
Shot, and I'm like, oh wow. And then after the meat grinder,
beautiful but icky.
Yeah.
It also reminded me of what's that movie?
Which one?
Where it's got Eggsy, Kingsman. Kingsman 2. The second one. Oh, there's like a meat grinding scene that kind of gave me that vibes. But this one was more artsy.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so then we have all of that, and in between that we get the shot of like he goes down and we see like that fridge that's full of all the meat. We see how he has it all prepared and like those vacuum sealed bags with names and tags of like who they are. I said who they're from, no, who they fucking are. And so it's pretty. We have it's dinner time. It pans into like he put a ass cushion for her, obviously because she has no booty. And he explains how he got into the flesh and how he started eating at 19 and how he found a community of other people who like
we're into it as well.
We're into it just as him. And
as he sets down the drink for her too, he goes, don't worry, I'm not going to drug you again. And I was like, funny joke, bitch.
And so then she starts asking, is it only women or something like that? And he's like, women taste better.
Yeah. Saying like, who is it? How big is this community? And that's the 1% of the 1%. Women just taste better, which is like, and the whole time while he's talking and explaining it too, she's taking stock of
Oh
ways.
yeah, she's looking like around the house, like exits, like what's around her.
And what she looks at when you go back and watch it a second time, you can see like she looks at the dumbwaiter, which is where Penny comes up and attacks him. She looks at the knives, which is what is used to then stab him later
a lot of foreshadowing
and stuff. Yeah. So she's looking at basically all the major points of what she can use against him. And they do use it later.
And so, yeah, he ends up serving her the meatball, and she ends up tasting it and the whole time I'm like, it's a massive
big chunk
meatball. And I'm just
that
like,
she takes.
oh, yeah. And she's like, puts it in her mouth the whole time. I'm thinking like, oh, this is so gross. This is human flesh.
She really takes a big ass bite.
She really does.
Why couldn't she take a smaller bite?
She's trying to sell it. I think she's committing to the. But imagine having to go through that just to like get free.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, she's eating.
I mean,
it.
I would do it, but
yeah, the name of the meat is Hope, the person,
Hope,
and they make a little joke about it
later. Yeah,
And
not so much Hope.
Yeah, and so then right now they he says, oh yeah, he's like. I don't remember if it's he takes her back or he's talking to her right there. He's like, I knew I liked you, and he's like, you're just as fucked up too.
Yeah, I knew you were special because you're fucked up too. And as she takes a bite of the meat too, we get another scene with like the goat head and the people eating and the flashing and stuff. And so I think those people are really, while they are actual people that are being in there, I think that they are like people within his little box of desires who are kind of being representative of these like desires that are being unleashed when eating a human being.
Yeah.
And like she's getting a little actual taste of his world.
Of that, yeah. And so then we have him leaving her for the night. He then goes to another room and he gets Molly. And then he takes Molly and he's gonna he obviously takes her to the same operating room and he starts cutting her up. We don't really see what at this point, but it comes into play later on.
Does.
And then
she throws that shit right up. Good job.
Yes, she throws that shit up. Penny gets a monologue right after this.
Yeah,
saying, I'm like, oh god. I'm like, why is Penny getting this monologue out of nowhere?
I loved it. I thought it was funny, but she's like, I sat there and thought of how nice it has been to talk with you, but then I thought, what if this isn't real? What if you're not real? And then she goes,
which is what I was kind of thinking at certain points, because I'm like, wait, are they even real? Is he fucking with her? Like,
is Penny even there?
Yeah.
And or is she just losing her mind, kind of thing? Yeah. And Penny is basically like, but I know that you must be, because I don't think I would name my imaginary friend Noah. It'd be more like Sean Connery.
And so.
But this is the first little glimpse we get of Penny, because Noah says, I wish I could see you. Yeah. And it pans up over the wall. And so they're like on opposite sides of the wall. And we get to see Penny and the fact that she has a missing leg. Yeah. Which, comes into play. Like that's a little bit harder to get out of things when you are missing a limb. So.
And then after that, we go to he brings her a dress, that hideous, god awful dress,
fucking ugly ass dress,
literally, which also makes a reference to, like, if you notice, it seems like what a 60s like an old type of dress, right? And do you remember in the beginning Chad was saying like,
I think he'd look really nice in a dress,
and a different generation. Not only that, it's not only a dress; it's like an old generational dress.
Yes.
Like, so I'm just like, what? Yeah.
Tie-ins. And I love vintage clothing, but. That was just a ill-fitting dress.
That was ugly.
Yeah.
And the bow here.
Yeah, the bow was where it was. It was. I think this one realistically would be more reminiscent of the 80s with the cut, because the 50s was a little bit more intent on an actual making the waist smaller by making
a silhouette.
Yeah, so the hourglass silhouette. So they had a lot of like the classic Dior look.
Gotcha.
But then there was a lot of like form-fitting dresses. But they wouldn't have put the top as big.
This was ugly.
Anyways.
And so, yeah, we have her showing up for dinner. They're eating dinner.
Oh, I made another note. I was like, whatever. I don't know what the music was here, but I was like, the music in this film is just really good.
Really good. Yeah. And so they're having dinner and they're talking about it. And then she asks who it is. And he says it's Melissa. And that's when we remember that Melissa was one of the crazy girl, the loopy girl from the beginning. And so her face
kind of pause.
When he's,
like,
she's eating her.
Also, we did, as they were getting ready, we see that Anna, his wife, has texted him being like, when are you going to be home? And he missed a call from her. And then he puts the phone into the box, which whenever she comes to it later and finds the phone, it's the box of all of her things.
Yeah.
It has her driver's license and stuff in it. So I think that does solidify that she was a former victim of his.
Okay.
And so he still keeps her things
I
with
didn't even notice
him.
that. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, we have them having this conversation, all of that shit. They're having dinner. She's
They make the joy joke there.
It's a little joy joke, and then she's acting really well to like try
She
to
is.
sell it up to him. And she
is
starts
a
kind
champ.
of fake crying a little bit because she's like, I feel awful for
Ew,
not feeling
and it
awful.
was liver that he served her too. It was
Pate.
Melissa's
It's
liver.
gross. Yeah, it looked like
Any
cat
liver
food.
sounds gross.
It looks like cat food.
It was great.
And so then we have that whole shit going on. So finally he then shows her what's behind the art on the wall and
Sure,
the
it's a
cubby
trophy
holes, and it's
case.
basically like all these girls that he's ever taken, all their like phones, their
She gets to see
shit.
what Penny's face looks
She gets to see
like.
Penny, Sammy, Akbari,
Melissa.
Melissa. And then as she's panning down, she sees phones in the corner, and she sees
Molly's phone.
Molly's phone, which we had seen plenty of times throughout the movie. And they made it
She
very
had a
clear
very
for us.
distinctive case, yeah.
Yes.
Which
And
is
so,
like, and then that's when she's like, oh, fuck.
So she's like, I really got to get this going. And so then after that, he gives her the breast meat. And that's whenever he's telling her.
He says it might be familiar.
It might even be familiar as he's describing it, like the taste of it. Yeah. And so, yeah.
His
she's
plating was
acting for
very good,
alive.
though.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very
It's
beautiful.
a beautiful plate. I was like,
It
damn,
was
this is some
Master
5-star
Chef,
restaurant
Top Chef.
shit.
And
He would
so-
have survived Chop.
And I think this is my bad, where she starts doing the whole spill of like, oh, I feel awful for not feeling awful, and then he gets her to feel better because they start dancing. And
Yes.
this whole like dance montage.
Well,
scene,
she
like,
asked him to
yeah,
dance
she's
too.
like doing a dance. I love their dancing.
And
by the
he's
way.
making like rookie mistakes there because then as he's trying to comfort her, he realized he didn't handcuff her back.
Yeah,
And so like he's clearly letting his guard down.
way down.
More so than he would have in the past. He's already made mistakes. Molly found him.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
he's done fucked up with her. He's not
Yeah.
been careful. And yeah, but the dancing montage, that dancing that they're doing, that little like
All of
double,
it, yeah.
and like to the
Uh-huh.
side, back once. That was very good.
I liked it because of like what's happening in the movie, and then like because it's like all this really grave, the stakes are high, situations are happening. She knows Molly's there, but yet they're just like. And the
Grooving.
music and like the faces that they have, hers at least is so like deadpan, like so like not even there. at
She's
that
just like,
yeah.
she's
Fake-
disassociating.
Yeah.
She is detaching from her body so she can do what it
she got
is
to
she's
do.
about to do.
And so we have them leading up to the bedroom, and they're having this whole like back and forth, and it's between the scenes of dancing and then them kissing, them getting on the bed, and then like she takes his clothes off, she gets his underwear off, and then finally and it's the way I'm already saying
She went
it.
to the bathroom first.
Oh yeah,
too.
she went to the restroom, said I gotta freshen up or something. She went to the
Mm-hmm.
restroom, and this guy is clearly trusts her at this point, even though she's his prisoner. And she goes to the restroom, comes back out, all that, starts kissing him, and then she's gonna give him a blowjob, fellatio, and then she ends up biting his penis off very quickly as like the music then cuts off, and he just gets up yelling,
Yeah.
and then she puts
Minty fresh toothpaste.
toothpaste from the restroom and put it in his eyes.
Yeah, which
And
I'm like,
so-
damn, that's smart. I don't think I
Yeah.
would have ever thought to do that.
And yeah, smart. And so then she
But I
ends up
imagine
being
that
able
burns.
to go out. She ends up to get out the door and like close him in for a little bit. But yeah, like it's the way she has all the blood on her mouth, and he's like stumbling to get up. Like I
You
imagine
fucking
that must
bitch.
fucking hurt. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, wait, like did she like bite it off, or is it just like flopping? Like is it like
I feel like it had to have been somewhat attached still.
still attached, but like maybe like
Yeah, just hanging on by a little.
ooh yeah.
You know, like when you got a sausage and it's got
Yeah.
that skin, and you like cut through it, but it's still like attached by the skin a little bit.
Ooh yeah. I'm like imagining like ooh god. Okay. Anyways, all right. So.
Ouchie.
Yeah, literally. And so then we have all that happening. She's trying to
She's
escape. She
fumbling
runs
too.
to-
So
she's fumbling.
it's pretty high
She,
stakes.
she gets to get to Molly, and she's getting Molly out, and then they get to, and then Molly's like, "What's happening?" She's like, "I can't explain right now." And
Just
then
put these on.
And so they get out, and then they get Penny out, but Penny's missing a leg, so they're kind of struggle to get Penny, and they're all getting out. And then we have him coming upstairs or whatever, wherever to the kitchen area, and then Penny
is in the dumbwaiter.
and she kicks him
Yeah.
or pushes him or something, and he gets knocked down.
Kicks
and then
him
we
with
have-
her one leg.
And then we have everybody else coming in.
Molly comes
we have
in.
Noah coming in, and then they start tag teaming this guy.
And they're using all the things that she had thought earlier.
That they
We've got the
can.
dumbwaiter, we've got the knives, and they're,
Mhm.
I mean, it clearly, well, obviously they've been drugged and they're missing body parts and stuff, so they're not going to be the strongest.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw Noah doing push-ups at one point, and so like she was clearly trying to think
getting
of
herself
like
ready.
How
prepped.
can I get out of here? I have to make sure I'm healthy and stuff
Strong.
to get out.
And so then we have that whole fight, and it's a pretty long fight scene, actually.
It
and
is.
With
He does not go down easy.
He does not. We have them kind of having the upper hand, and then he kind of gets it at one point, and then back and forth until finally we have...
When we were watching it, Andrew goes, get that double tap.
Literally, and we have Miss Molly kicking him and knocking him out, and that's when they leave him on the couch, and I'm just like, at that point, I don't understand why they didn't make sure he was dead. But
yeah, just stab him.
I get it.
You're trying to get out.
And so the movie pans off with them. Oh, and
but
also
then Paul pulls up here.
Paul the whole time was like tracking Miss Molly and was finally showing up. And then it's the way that they're running out the backyard, which is Molly, Penny, and Miss Noah. And then Steve comes out with a gun and he's like, "I'm gonna get you," and then makes a shot, fires around, and that's whenever, especially at that point, that Paul's like, "No, I've seen this movie. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not." Yeah. So yeah, at that point, it kind of felt like, well, Paul, your character was a little useless then.
Yeah.
But it also, I guess,
thought maybe he was gonna drive off, and then they were gonna like get into his car still, though. Like he would go down the road, they run into each other, and then
it never happens.
But nope.
Maybe that
is what
it
happens.
did happen, and we just don't see it. And so then we have all that happening. We have him then coming up for her. And then you can see that they fucked him up pretty bad because
his face
he's
is
like barely can get, walking around. He's just shooting kind of aimlessly. And then finally,
eyeballs are swollen.
I love how Penny yells at him and is just like, whatever. I forget what she says.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
And then they all start ganging up on him. But do you see how Penny was like crawling on the ground to him? I was like, oh, it was so like, I thought it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing. Because Penny goes in.
Yeah, she does.
She's like, it looks like she's literally like deep stroke. What is that? Like
breaststroke?
Yeah, breaststroking to get to him on the dry land. And then they start beating him up. And then finally we have Noah picking up his gun, and she's like, "Why don't you smile for me?" or something like that, right?
Yeah, because he had asked her to smile before he allowed her to go to the shower first time.
Yeah.
And so then he gives a little smile and she shoots him right between the eyeballs. And you kind of think it's done there.
Yeah.
Except for Anna had already rolled up to the house.
Yeah, and we see that, and they're kind of like looking at her and the ponytail dude, and they're like, "Oh shit, something's going on."
And that's when she sees her stuff in his phone and the stuff like. Because then I think when he leaves his phone in there, it's like almost he's leaving that life with her behind, and he's
the
like
symbolism.
Choosing to be with Noah
at this point.
But then Noah done.
Yeah,
bit his dick off.
And so that all happens, and then we have Miss Penny, Noah, and Molly at the barn or something off on the property somewhere, and then they're trying to call the police or something, and there's no service on Molly's phone, and then Noah's like, "Oh, I might drop my phone over there. He must have my phone." And so she goes back to go get her phone, which I'm thinking like, why would you do that? But okay, at this point they also don't know that Anna's there, so
yeah, it's true.
They would have no reason to think they think
they shot him, but between the eyes he's dead.
They think we're in the clear, and so they go back, and then obviously Anna's there, and
at this point she doesn't even know. She doesn't know that Anna is his wife.
Yeah, and so then Anna's like, "Oh my God, you got him, we're free," and then starts putting her hands around her neck and strangling her, and then get into a little scarfuffle, and then
she's like, "I want to watch the life slip from your eyes."
But then Noah gets the keys and stabs her in the neck, and then you think it's done, but no, they're still fighting.
She don't go down easy either.
Molly then finally comes with
clearly,
the shovel.
if she was a survivor too.
Yeah,
I mean, she's been through some shit.
And Molly then finally comes with the shovel and ends up killing Anna by
fucking smashing her head
in.
I did have to turn my head a little bit. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, and so and then we have all that shit happening. We have them finally feeling free of all that, and then all I remember is Heads Will Roll started playing. Yeah,
and then basically the last scene is they find because they had found his body, and she was like, "Go put him on ice." Ponytail Man takes him and just dips, I guess. And then so she gets murdered, and then the last scene, is just Molly. Chad. And Noah sitting there, and then that little message comes up, and it's just "You up?" from Chad, and it's like, fuck you, dude, you literally were like, "You're not even my type anyways, you're ugly, like, you stuck up bitch, like, and you have the audacity to text you up. Fuck you."
Sounds like Chad.
It really is a commentary on the horrors of dating. And then this is like a thing that actually happens too, which is terrifying. Maybe, well, I'm sure the cannibalistic thing does happen.
Sure it happens somewhere.
Yeah. there's so many films and stuff about like
That
the
touch upon
society, the high society eating like and taking advantage of lower society. And so I imagine that it is very much a thing that does happen.
And I'm under the impression it's like you can't make up people in your dreams.
Yeah.
Because like
they're all someone from your subconscious
or
that you've
something
seen.
that you've seen. You can't make shit up like that. So I'm like, when it comes to movies, I'm like, nope, like nothing is fiction. Everything comes from some reference somewhere. Someone saw some shit or someone talked about it, and it's
Exactly. And then it is a thing, like there's the Tinder murders and shit. Like there are people who go on these dates with people for the first time, that they've met online, and then they end up getting murdered or, robbed or something like that. But it's a very real and horrific thing that does happen in the world of online dating / dating in general.
Be careful out there, you guys.
Every time that I would go to someone's house, I would be this is the address. This is what this motherfucker looks like, kind of thing. I would send it to a family member, a friend.
Someone.
Yeah, someone, so they could have my location.
Smart girl.
And just because, I've listened to way too much true crime, I've seen too much shit, I'm like, nah, I'm paranoid as all get out.
You can't trust
even after
nowadays.
this, Andrew, because Andrew's been like, we should go on a vacation. I was like, kill me?
Andrew's been putting in the work.
I was like, but then I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, he's been in the long haul, like 8 years plus.
This has been a 10-year plan in motion.
This is his 10-year plan.
This is still 2 more years left.
Yep. Oh, fuck.
Literally.
I'm gonna die, you guys. I'm just kidding. He would never.
And so, yeah. There's just a lot going on, man.
Anyways.
So that was, you guys, 2022's Fresh.
And how many boos would you give this?
I would give this probably a solid, for me, honestly, it was like a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. Just stylistically,
oh, it's beautiful.
Character-wise, I feel like they were all pretty fleshed out characters. I feel like it's the exciting new kind of film for me to watch, as opposed to like I don't feel like a lot of people have done it. It's not like a Hills Have Eyes or anything like that. And it's very modern. It's very, like we said, something that could happen. It's like the new version of The Strangers for me.
Yes.
Because when I watched The Strangers for the first time, I was like, oh my god, someone's gonna walk up into my house and try to kill me for no reason. What? Yeah.
That's we haven't even decided what movie we're gonna do next week. Let's do The Strangers.
That's one of my favorites.
Let's do it. It's one of mine too.
Okay.
Oh, fun.
You guys, all right? Watch The Strangers with us, you guys.
Yay. That's so fun.
And so yeah. It's at 4.5 all overall because I liked the acting. I liked the Miss Daisy, I believe we said her name, Miss Noah. She did really well. I thought she did super good. Molly ended up being one of my favorite characters as well because it's like a character you want to root
relatable.
For.
Yeah.
And she's the protagonist.
Yeah. This is Molly's world. We're just living in it.
Literally. And
yeah, she was awesome.
I thought, like I said, it was well paced for the most part. The ending, I felt like what would I do differently? I have no idea.
Yeah, you can never know unless you're in that situation.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was 4.5
you meant with, like,
material.
the ending of the movie.
But even the filming, yeah. But I mean, like, what would I do? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Good.
And it's a movie that I would recommend.
Yes, I would recommend this film to anyone. I think I will give it a 4. Mm-hmm. It was terrifying. Mm-hmm. Like the idea of it wasn't necessarily like
a horror
film.
Horror.
Yeah. But overall, it's a beautiful film. Like it artistically, it was phenomenal. And I mean, the acting, everything, like you just said, I have to wholeheartedly agree with you.
I feel like they did good, and it's the way I've never seen her in anything before either. So
no,
neither Molly nor her.
Yeah, but I had seen Steve. Sebastian Stan. Yeah, he's been
That's
in
Bucky.
Stuff. Yeah,
that's Bucky.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of other stuff, and yeah. So
I did ask the people who had recommended it to me to give me their thoughts on it, and so one of them was it's actually a student of mine. Her name's, I won't say her name. I say Kesley's name all the time. Anyways, her name's Avi. She gave it a 4.8, and she said she thought it was very well put together and thought out. And she said the first 30 minutes built up their chemistry and how Steve was different than the other guys she dated. And then the credits was the turning point for how the rest of the movie was going to go. Mm-hmm. And she said the way Noah put up an act and went along with Steve, got the other girls out, beat him to a pulp, was very smart. The fact that it was Noah's friend who came together to get each other out instead. And basically she's saying like women power, like that it wasn't Paul who saved the day. But Molly coming. That. Yeah, me neither. And saying just a subtle way of being like, we don't need men to save us. Okay, 4.5 from me.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, me neither. Wow,
that is
so
true.
Introspective.
That is true.
And then she said also Steve's wife was just a breathing plot twist. Oh, I love that. What a good Amy, be a movie writer reviewer. And she said the fact that she was aware of what he was doing when she took a shower, but only had like one whole leg, blah, blah. And it was the only time I wasn't surprised that she did something was at the end when she tried to kill Noah. And then right after the movie, she said, and then right after the movie, I had to eat dinner.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not the
I love
best.
that. And I didn't even really think about that.
My other friend Blair, who originally, she was like, I don't even know like where to begin with this. And she was like, did you watch it? And I was like, I did. I was like, we're covering it on BooBaes right now. And she was like, it's so crazy, right? And I was like, yes.
I love it.
But yeah.
4.5?
4.5. I'll give it, solid 4.5 from both of us for 2022's Fresh. You can watch it on Hulu. That's where we watched it.
Yeah, that's where we streamed it, you guys.
Mm-hmm. But as always, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken a lot of their time today.
We have, actually. This is a
It's
pretty
a long one.
you guys. Thank you
You're still
for
here.
sticking with us through it.
There's just so many little things we had to talk about.
Yeah. And you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you'd like.
On
Rogue
RogueMediaNetwork.com. You can listen to us and all the other podcasts that Rogue Media has there. But wherever you do listen, don't forget to
rate, review, like, subscribe, do all of those things.
Tell your family members and
As
your
above,
boyfriends.
so below, please.
So you don't get murdered. And then you can reach out to us, let us know your thoughts on Fresh or The Strangers. I feel like everyone's seen The Strangers.
Come on.
So let us know your thoughts on that if you want to talk about it with us on the podcast next week.
Us, please send us some messages.
And you can do that on Instagram at
BooBaes Podcast. That is at BooBaes, BOOBAES, because we're your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
That's right. And yeah, until next time then.
Bye, Baes.
Bye, Baes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.